So it's just been, what, 2-3 days, and already the country is looking like this in Syria. So you can see here that people are being told through a loudspeaker on a megaphone that men and women should not socialize or mix in public. I mean, it's amazing, really. And this is in Masjid. This is in downtown Damascus. I can't believe what I'm hearing, honestly. I can't believe this. They're actually announcing it on a loudspeaker. They really are. And you can see here, this is the news. Apparently, this is the new Syrian justice minister saying that they're going to establish Sharia law.
الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وهنا القصر العدلي بحلب بين أيدي أبناء الثورة والمجاهدين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي دخلناه رافعين الرأس. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن نقيم أحكام شريعته في هذه المدينة الغراء. الآن سوف يجري إن شاء الله استلام القصر العدلي من الأخوة ومتابعة الأعمال والقيام إن شاء الله على الاستلام بشكل كامل بإذن الله عز وجل. والحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي صدقنا وعده وهنا القصر العدلي.
So Syria went from being a secular country where, you know, all sects, all ethnic groups, all religious groups treated equally, to now to this, apparently. And look at this woman, for example. She's standing next to Jolani, and he basically, she's told to put on a veil. So in Syria, that's not how it works, okay? That's not how it works. In Syria, you dress how you like. You can walk down the street. You see one woman in a niqab, the next is in jeans, and then the next has a hijab. It's whatever. You know, you're free to do as you please. And now it's become like this. So, you know, they're changing the way the whole society functions. And once again, what was the goal of all of this war, these 13 years of war? I understood, we were told that it's to get rid of the dictator Bashar al-Assad, the regime, the tyrant, the one who tells everybody what to do, and then there will be freedom and democracy. This is not freedom and democracy. This is not even, you know, like the old Syria in terms of society. Forget the government, right? Look, and now there will be a morality police as well, apparently, in the street.
الأوقاف بمحاسبة من يخل في الآداب العامة. فنحن هون دخلنا في تنازع في الصلاحيات. كيف؟ وراح طلع لنا اشكالات كثيره، فنحن ارتأينا ان تكون هي جزء من وزاره الداخليه، وان يكون لدى وزاره الداخليه شرطه آداب يشرف عليها بعض الاخوه الشرعيين والدعاة، ويغلبوا جانب الدعوه على جانب العصا. يا اخواني، نحن اذا غلبنا العصا في الدعوه فهذا يدل على عجز في قدرتنا على ايصال الحق الى الناس. والاسلام دين حق، يعني هو قوي بذاته. يحتاج عصا لمن يقف في وجهه في العصا.
You know, it's interesting he says that because once again, you can see with every statement that's coming out of his mouth, with every statement that's coming out of this transitional government, they are going further and further and further away from everything that was promised, right? And look in the background, look behind him. There are two flags. There's the new Syrian flag, okay? And next to it is the flag of the Shahada, but you know, more specifically, it's a flag that's used by the Taliban, and it was used by elements of Al Qaeda in Syria. It's a very distinct flag that you see only being used by you know, by these terrorist groups in Syria, by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and so on. Now look, let's put aside for a second who used to use it. Let's just look at this from you know, a contemporary or just like, you know, just how it is right now. Syria has a lot of ethnic groups, right? 10% of the population are Christian. So why is there just a flag for Muslims? Why isn't there a flag for Christians, for example? Right? It's not just that you happen to have 10% of the population that are Christian. Christianity began in Syria. It didn't begin in Mongolia or in Venezuela. It began in Syria, right? It comes from Syria. So Why not put up a flag for Christians as well? Because, you know, when you start doing that, you're going to have to end up putting 20 plus flags, literally 20 plus flags to accommodate every single sect, every single ethnic group, every single religious group. You know, this is why Syria had a secular model. And frankly, it makes you feel excluded, you know. If you're a Syrian Christian and you're looking at that, you're wondering, hold on a second, why, first of all, the Syrian flags have been changed. Okay, we had a revolution, democracy, this and that. But now you're putting up a second flag just for Muslims. I mean, how will you not feel excluded? Do you understand? It's a pluralistic society. It's a society that has, like I said, 20 plus different ethnic and religious groups. This is a message that's basically saying you're excluded. In addition to the fact that, you know, now you're supposed to obey a different dress code, and now men and women have to be separate. I mean, you know, it's like they want to change every single element of your daily life. And I want to understand something. Syrians haven't had proper school and education for the last 13 years because of the war. Why isn't the focus on rebuilding the education system? Are you really going to sit there and tell me it's more important to have morality police in the streets than it is to rebuild the education system? What kind of priority is this? I mean, it's all screwed up. It's all screwed up. You can't actually sit there and tell me like these are people who are going to run a state, and Syria no less. I mean, look at the size of the country. Look at the challenges that it has to face in terms of reconstruction. There's a million things that have to be done, and they're focusing on this. That tells you everything you need to know about these people and their priorities. And the Syrians who cheered this on, like a bunch of bozos, who cheered on these extremists into power, are going to have a very, very rude awakening. They are going to have a very rude awakening. This guy was, look at this. This guy from Saudi Arabia on the left was dressing up boys in suicide vests, like on the right, during the war in Syria. Okay, so a straight up terrorist, you know, just watch the video.
عبد الرحمن يا مرحبا أسأل الله أن يحفظكم أنتم أمهاتنا أجمعين ببريدة وما حولها وبكل أمهات المجاهدين. أسأل الله يثبتنا وإياكم. هنيئا لك أن هذا البطل يكون إن شاء الله عروسا في جنات النعيم هذه الليلة مع حور حسان مقصورات في الخيام. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعل اليوم عمليته مثخنة في أعداء الله سبحانه وتعالى، وأسأل الله أن يكون سبب عن تفريج أكثر من 400 ألف مسلم ومسلمة اليوم يصرخن تحت القصف لك كل أجر هؤلاء عند الله سبحانه وتعالى. أسأل الله يثبته. وأيضا زوجة أخونا يونس، هنيئا لك أن يكون زوجك يوم القيامة بانتظارك يوم القيامة ويدخلك إلى جنات النعيم. والله أنا أقول أن الشهداء، وأما الاستشهادين فهم أعظم الشهداء، والله إني أقول إنهم أشد الناس برا بأزواجهم وأمهاتهم وأولادهم. لأن بالدنيا أنتم تحتاجون، أنا أمي ببريدة منيرة العشاب وأمه وكذا يحتاجوننا بالدنيا، لكن بالدنيا في غيرنا. لكن يوم القيامة لا يوجد للإنسان إلا من سبق بعمل صالح ويشفع الشهيد في 70 في أهل بيته. فالله يحفظك يثبتنا وإياه.
So now this guy is being welcomed into Damascus to preach.
فهل رأيتم يا أهل سوريا ما وعدكم ربكم حقا؟ نعم والله يا رب رأينا ما وعدتنا حقا. نعم لم تكن هينة، بذلت فيها خيرة الدماء.
Look, my point here is that Syrians, even those who accept, okay, we've got to rebuild the country now, let's move forward. They're not looking to go from, you know, one radical form of government where it's, you know, they were saying, oh my God, it's the most brutal dictatorship in the 21st century. That's the line they're using. They're not looking to go from one extreme form of government to another extreme form of government, are they? I do not believe that most Syrians want that. And don't forget that these people, like this one who's preaching here now, just casually preaching in Damascus, has blood on his hands. This guy has blood on his hands. You know, Jolani has blood on his hands. We've seen his handiwork in Iraq, in Syria. We've seen how Daesh and Al-Qaeda chopped people's heads off and blew them up, and they terrorized and killed civilians. So why are you willing to forgive their bloodshed but not Bashar al-Assad's bloodshed? Shouldn't both of them be held to account? I thought that's the whole point of this revolution, is that, you know, we're going to have like equality. There's going to be functioning justice system, no corruption. So shouldn't both of these people that you're saying are bad be held to account, right? What kind of standard is going on here? It looks like a double standard more than anything else, right? So there's something very off with all of this. So, you know, violence is okay as long as you do it with a suicide vest, but not from a barrel bomb. Like, what is the message being sent here? You understand? It doesn't click. It doesn't match. It's incompatible, right? You can't just turn a blind eye to Jolani and his handiwork and this guy's handiwork and everybody in Al-Qaeda and their handiwork, because then you're just going to end up with the same problem again, aren't you? You're putting other violent people in power. You're putting a different kind of tyrant in power instead of another tyrant, right? Again, I don't buy into the whole butcher murderous regime, all of this crap, because they never use these terms against George Bush and Biden and all the Western leaders. But let's just go along with it for the sake of argument, right? Let's play along with it. You know, it's just hypocritical. They're just replacing one form of extremism, one form of tyranny with another. And just because it happens to be sectarian, some people like it. That is the sad truth. Some people are fine with the tyranny and they're fine with the bloodshed as long as it's their sect that's doing it. And I'm not down with sectarianism. I think Syria should be secular. It works when it's secular and everybody gets along just fine. Okay. And allowing Turkey and Qatar, I mean, and the United States and Israel to take advantage of the situation on top of it. I mean, Jesus, I've said enough. I've said enough, honestly. That's just scandalous. That's shameful. But look at these people from Reuters, you know, for example, here trying to rehabilitate these Al-Qaeda scumbags and interview them like they're just casual people. You know, now they put on jumpers instead of putting on their suicide vests, and they're all cool, you know, and you can have a chat with them in English and everything's fine and lovely, you know?
Let's go. Introduce yourself, please.
Mohammed Yasser Ghazal. I'm a Syrian from Aleppo. Born in Syria, Aleppo, 27 February 1988.
Okay.
I lived my first 6 years in Syria, then traveled with my family to UAE. Stayed there for...
I'll put the interview below if you want to watch it, because it's 11 minutes. But look at some of the, you know, they're trying to film it in a format that's like really casual, just like they do with Jolani, you know? You have to remember, a large part of media is about image, and it's about, it's like setting a stage, you know? Okay, let's put Jolani in a suit. Let's you know, trim his beard a little bit. And then the next time around, they dressed him up like Zelensky because Zelensky's outfit resonated with people. You get the idea. So a lot of it is about imaging. But here, I want to show you what happened to this Syrian actress. This is the new free Syria, the democratic Syria, yeah? Here.
نحن وطالعين على الحاجز وقفونا الهوية.
So she said they were stopped at a checkpoint. They asked for, you know, they were asked for their ID cards.
طلبوا من صديقي الهوية أعطاهم الهوية.
So they asked a friend for his ID, and he showed it to them.
طبعا اللي واقف في أكثر من عنصر واقف، واحد منهم ملتم، والملتم حاكانا فقال له إنه أنت جرمانة شو جاي تعمل بالمزة؟ قال له عم وصل.
Yeah, so one of them, there are two guys. One of them was asking them, like, you're in Jaramana, what are you doing in Mesjid? They're just different areas in Damascus, okay? And then he answers the guy at the checkpoint. So he tells the guy at the checkpoint,
قال له عم وصل أصدقائي.
I'm just, you know, I'm just driving just taking my friends somewhere, just dropping them off.
قال له أنتوا كتير فري على فكرة. قال له عفوا ما فهمت. قال له العنصر اللي واقف، قال له ما في شيء عنا اسمه أصدقاء وتوصل أصدقائك، نحن بالحكومة القادمة والدولة القادمة. إجا قال له طيب نحن خلصنا من حكم بشار. قال له ما دخلني، نحن هلأ بدولة إسلامية.
So the guy at the checkpoint who's wearing a mask, he tells her friend who's driving, you seem to be a bit too free. He even said the word free in English, right? And her friend who's driving said, I don't understand what you mean. And the guy at the checkpoint says that you know, there's no such thing anymore as you know, friends. Okay. And he's referring to the fact that she's a girl, and you know, she's a woman and he's a man. And the driver, her friend, tells the guy at the checkpoint, well, we just got done with you know, one form of extreme government. What's this? And then the guy at the checkpoint tells him, I don't care. This is now what did he say? An Islamic state.
بشار قال له ما دخلني، نحن هلا بدولة إسلامية.
Yeah. So he said, we just got done with Bashar. He says, I don't care. This is an Islamic state now.
ما في شيء اسمه أصدقاء.
There's no such thing as friends.
قال له رفيقي، قال له ليش بالدين الإسلامي ما في أصدقاء؟ اجى قال له في أصدقاء ولكن بين الشباب بس، ما في صداقة بين.
And so her friend says, you don't have such a thing as just being friends in you know, amongst Muslims. And then the guard at the checkpoint says, no, only between men. That's just between you know, friendship is just between men.
بين شاب وبنت. البنت ممنوع تطلع غير مع صلة رحم أخوة أو زوجة، وهي الأصدقاء شباب وبنات هي متعبة ومنهكة. هي
Yeah, and a woman is only allowed out with a guardian, with her brother, with her father. There's no more going out with you know, between friends. However you want to interpret that. The point is now that you need to go out with a guardian. That's what they're being told. This is the democratic free Syria.
لنا كلنا. ولو سمحت راجع دينك، وهيك قال له نحن بهذا المعنى. أتمنى من كل قلبي إنه هاي الحالة تكون حالة فردية ولا تعبر عن ما هو قادم. أنا كان لازم أطلع، لازم أحكي.
So she's basically saying, I hope this is just a one-off. I really hope that this is just a you know, like a freak encounter, not a sign of things to come.
وقول الشيء اللي صار معنا. وهو نازل صديقي سأل على نفس الحاجز، قالوا له أنت درزي ولا سني؟
Oh, lovely, right? So they also asked her friend who's driving, are you Druze? Are you Sunni? More sectarianism.
قال لهم عفوا أنا بالسعودية ما سألت هذا السؤال.
And he said, and her friend refused to answer. He said, even in Saudi Arabia, they did not ask me this question.
قال له لا تفهمنا غلط يعني، بس يعني رجاء انه خلص خليك بمنطقتك. وهدول الشرع.
And the guards tried to like quell the thing and say, no, don't misunderstand us, but just stay in your area.
على العناصر يمكن قال لهم انه كل من راجع على مكانه. هذا اللي صار بحرفيته، هذا اللي صار معي انا شخصيا، وان شاء الله تكون الحالة فردية.
So you know, it's looking lovely, huh? It's looking lovely, really. It just the new Syria exudes democracy, doesn't it? And freedom and love and everything nice. Here's this is of a Lebanese Christian woman who's in Syria. So she's talking about her brother in Latakia. I'm not going to play the whole video, but just very briefly what happened to her brother, okay?
بيهددوا أخي إنه أنت تطلع من البيت ونحن ما بدنا إياكم، أنتم مسيحية وما بدنا إياكم.
Yeah, so people start, you know, huffing and puffing at the doors at the house, trying to get her kick her family out, kick her brother out, saying we don't want any Christians here, leave.
يعني تحشوا على البيت وأمي كحشوا ونحن صرنا عمر وأمي سورية، هيدا بيتنا، يعني طلعوا عم يكحشونا من البيت.
And we've been here, you know, for eons. It's our house. This is our house.
حاسة إنه هيدا هو اللي وعدتونا فيه، هيدا اللي وعدنا فيه نحن، عبال الفيديو يوصل لكل العالم.
Yeah, and she's saying, is this what you promised us? This is the, you know, she's referring to the new Syria, that, right?
لكل العالم. عن جد كل العالم المسؤول عن هالثورة هو بيرضاها خي وحيد انه هي طلعوا عم يهددوه انه انت.
She says my brother was all by himself, and they tried to threaten him and kick him out of the house. And is this what you promised us? Is this, you know, those who are responsible for the revolution? Is this, you know, what it's come to? You get the idea. Here's another guy. So by the way, the first girl I showed you, the first woman, she's an actress. Yeah, she's a Syrian actress. This woman, I don't know her, or she's an actress. I think she's just a normal civilian. This guy here is also an actor from Syria. And yeah, so some people broke into his house. They were armed. They said they're part of the revolution. They're rebels, basically. They smashed up the house. They took his car keys. They stole the car as well. And they said because you're an Alawite. That's why they did it. Basically, just until they can make sure that he hasn't done anything wrong. Like, what does that even mean? Like, we're gonna steal your car because you're an Alawite, and you got to prove you haven't done anything wrong. What? You prove your innocence. I mean, like this is chaotic at best. Really, if you call this chaotic, that's putting it very mildly. This is some vile sectarian dog crap. That's what this behavior is. This is crazy dog crap, you know? Like, does any of this sound orderly or reassuring or secure or safe or democratic? No, it's just dog crap upon dog crap. This is why I gave the analogy of you're telling me Bashar al-Assad is a faulty, broken down car. You're taking away the car and giving people a bicycle and then saying, oh, that's a set of wheels. Motherfucker, it's a bicycle. We don't want a bicycle instead of a broken car. We want a brand new car. You know what I'm saying? A brand new car that exhibit himself pimped. Okay, on Pimp My Ride. Not a bloody bicycle. You can't just get rid of the government for the sake of getting rid of the government and then give people dog shit sectarianism. That is called degeneracy. That is called regression. That is called stupidity. That is called backwardness, you know? Does this really need explaining? I mean, come on. I'll read you one tweet over here, which really kind of sums it up. You cannot expect the jihadist terror groups who have slaughtered scores of civilians of all minority sects and ethnicities to build a state that preserves them. Despite all the assurances being echoed in the media, 13 years of brutal atrocities later, everyone knows who they are. Or everyone knows what they are, rather. Exactly, you know? And I'll read you another tweet. If the rebels are sincere about accountability, right? Because they're saying we're going to hold those who are in the regime accountable. We're going to have justice and all these lovely things. Great. If the rebels are sincere about accountability and starting fresh, starting anew, it would also include the rebel jihadists like Jolani, who were beheading, who were crucifying, who were mutilating and sending suicide bombers and kidnapping people, and especially when they did it to minorities and persecuted them for the last 13 years, right? Here's the tweet so you can see it on the screen. This is a very important point. Where is the accountability for Al-Jolani and his ilk? I don't want these people in power. You know, forget, like, put aside all of the stuff that I just showed you, which is, I mean, incriminating enough in and of itself, even if they were choir boys during the revolution and they were well behaved. Just this alone in the last few days is bad enough, right? But these people are murderers and terrorists. They actually terrorized Syrians. They carried out heinous acts of political violence, you know, really mass violence. Where's the accountability for them? How can you say, okay, the government has to go because it's brutal and violent, but these guys can come even though they're also brutal and violent? As a matter of fact, they're even more brutal and violent, but let's leave that aside. Let's go along. Let's go along with what they're saying, right? Let's say the Bashar al-Assad was the devil. Okay, he's gone. Where's the accountability for these guys? You're going to deny they were chopping people's heads off? You're going to deny that they were persecuting minorities? That they killed Syrians of all backgrounds, Sunnis, Shias, Alawites, Christians, Druze, you name it? You're going to deny that? Maybe you can go and trick somebody else, but you're not going to dupe me. So this is the Syria that is manifesting before our very eyes. It's a sectarian Syria. It's an oppressive Syria. It has no democracy in it. It's got no sense of justice or accountability. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's just straight up extremism and fanaticism. And what else would you expect when we told you for years, look who's backing this? It's Saudi Arabia. It's the Wahhabis. It's the Muslim Brotherhood. It's America. When has America ever done anything good? America has dirty hands. Israel have dirty hands. When have they ever done anything good for Arabs? When? No, some people don't want to listen. And now they're shocked. What can I say? I don't want to say I told you so, because it's not just their country, is it? It doesn't just belong to the idiots who supported the revolution. It's not just theirs. According to them, it's everybody's, right? Let's test those limits. Let's see how much I'm allowed to say then. Let's see how much they respect opinions. Apparently not very much. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. You know, telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it, because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.